much can you get for $37? Well, if your name is Robert Healy, you can get 22% of the electorate to vote for you as governor of Rhode Island. That's actually a true story, and it's one you probably haven't heard yet. Bob Healy joined the race for governor last minute. He was up against two establishment candidates, a Democrat state treasurer and a Republican mayor. As the underdog, Healy shelled out only $37, hoping to prove his message would go a lot further than his money. And it seems he was right. Earlier, I had the chance to talk to that candidate about his success, and I first asked if he was surprised at how well he did.
Yes, we did quite well with the short time, and the real interesting part is we did quite well without the use of campaign funds. We spent roughly $37 on the total campaign when it came to an end. And I think that with 22% of the vote, it demonstrates that you probably can do some good work in politics without having to expend large sums of money.
And I think a lot of people would want to know what you spent that $37 on. What did that go to?
It went to a $8 cell phone and $25 worth of minutes, a couple of postage stamps, and some taxes.
Very interesting. Well, what was your message to voters this year? What was it, do you think, that really resonated with them?
Well, I think that what we tried to show them was that two-party politics certainly is very divisive in that it takes an issue, divides the people on one side or the other, raises money from them to defend that side or the other side, and so we never get any resolution by bringing people and good ideas together. Instead, all we do is continue to raise money to keep the fight going. They don't want to kill their cash cows, and so they don't solve the problems that are facing society. Instead, they just raise money to continue the war.
Well, we did see other third-party candidates run for office in different states delivering very similar independent alternative messages, but they didn't quite fare as well as you did. Why do you think that is? I mean, are people in Rhode Island just more fed up with the system?
Well, yeah, I think people in Rhode Island had some great dissatisfaction with the major party candidates, and that left an opening. And I think that what really happened for us was that dissatisfaction then grew into a larger message, a visionary message, and people were embracing that. People watched the debates and were sick and tired of the same rhetoric, scripted lines. They wanted real candidates. I presented an alternative with an alternative plan, and that really caught on. That and coupled with the people who were dissatisfied with their own party candidate made the 22%.
And you mentioned the debates. I want to ask you about that because, you know, there are third-party races in a lot of different states across the country, and oftentimes the third-party candidates cannot participate in those debates. You were able to do that. Tell me, I mean, how well did you have to fare in order to participate in those debates, and was that key, do you think, at getting your name out and really conveying your message?
Well, I mean, I had an advantage. I'm an attorney that's done some profile cases. I've also run for statewide office for about 30 years now, so my name is familiar. My ideas are pretty familiar. Last time in 2010, I received almost 40% of the vote for the office of lieutenant governor. So there was some public awareness. I didn't come into this a completely cold candidate. I knew how to get the people involved, and I knew how to bring the media attention to myself. I mean, we worked a lot with free media. There's no doubt about it. Earned media is, you know, a foundation of our campaigns.
But what I'm asking too is, I mean, did the debate commission at all try to keep you out of the debates? I mean, did they really try to keep it just a two-party debate between the Democrat and the Republican?
Well, I think that the public understood that there was at least a three-way race here. The party ticket I ran under was a state-recognized political party, and so it was pretty hard for them to keep a candidate out that was, I mean, I usually, even in the worst day, I poll large enough to be able to be included on the debates, and that coupled with the party status, having been a state-recognized political party, it made third-party politics a lot easier.
Well, let's talk about how little you spent. $35, $37. You didn't accept any outside funding. You
Right.
said you wanted a guerrilla campaign for a cerebral revolution. Talk about what you meant by that.
Well, we wanted people to change the way they think in the state of Rhode Island. Rhode Island is a state that is in pretty tough shape. The unemployment rate here is amongst the highest of all states in the United States. We have very poor plans for economic development. We have a lot of problems in terms of high taxation. We have an exodus of a lot of the people that would normally be considered your working middle class. And all of those things combined, we need to rethink how we do business, from changing the taxation system to changing how we do our education system, from changing the very basic fabric. So instead of having a revolution that would be violent, we decided that we would prefer to change people's minds as opposed to doing something other than that, and that was it. I mean, it's said that you can change governments 3 ways. You can reconstitute them, you can amend what you have, or you can pretty much go to a revolution, and I think that we chose to amend the people to think differently.
And indeed, you were able to prove that a lot of voters are very receptive to that message. You, like you said, are no stranger to running for office in this state. You've run several times. Considering how well you did in this latest election for the position of governor, are we expecting another run soon?
Well, I would always leave myself open to that, especially based on the enthusiasm for this campaign. The problem is I've been doing it for so long that I think it's time for younger blood to take over. I would certainly help move this in another direction or a further direction if it's all possible. I have no problems remaining involved in politics, but I would prefer to do it as an advisor. But if I had to, given the circumstances, yes, I would run again.
All right, you'll have to impart that knowledge, that secret to success. Okay, Rhode Island gubernatorial candidate Robert Healy, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.